Get Into Geek. This is episode 151. We're talking Stargate SG-1. My name is Mitch. Joining me, the full Get Into Geek team, we've got Matty,
Yow.
Brendan,
hey guys,
and Rhys.
G'day guys.
Joining us for the first time. Good episode to start with. I mean,
It's funny if none of us showed up and Mitch was like just the only one here because we're all just...
Yeah, well, it's just inauguration. Look, inauguration's one thing. Our episode might be excellent. We haven't planned anything, so let's just see what happens. But we are three veteran Stargate SG-1 fans introducing a first-timer, Rhys. He's watching a new episode each and every week, and that's what we're talking about here on the podcast. And we talked it up big time last week. One of Rhys's favourite episodes of Stargate SG-1, Season 1, let alone the entire series, is politics. From season 1.
Absolutely.
And we said this is Politics 2.0. In the last 7 days, you found out why, Rhys. Let's go into what the synopsis says and then go over to you and see what you thought. On his first day in office, the newly elected President of the United States of America is told about the Stargate program and must be brought up to speed on the past 7 years of its existence. And that's it for a synopsis. Like, it doesn't even tease, like, will he shut it down? There's pressure from Kinsey being a cock. Like, no, none of that. Directed by Peter F. West. And as all of our favourite Earthbound non-Stargate related episodes are, written by Joe and Paul.
2 in a row. Don't see the Stargate.
Yeah.
Or outside of clips.
Yeah, outside of clips. So, yeah, Rhys, I mean, I remember this episode. I actually feel like I remember it being like a full season later. So when it opened up, because I think even when I went to put this on, I'd forgotten what the episode was called. So, like, I see William Devane, who plays the president, who I don't know, I like him. I've seen him enough stuff.
Yep.
He just seems like a
He's
likable
awesome.
sort of guy. I'm like, oh, it's this. Oh, it's this. Yeah, right, yeah. So, Rhys, we teased it being Politics 2.0. And you loved Politics 1. How'd you feel about this one, buddy?
Oh, look, it's probably my favourite politics out of the three. But, yeah, look, it is what it is. There's a clip show, and the first 2 clips were from the previous clip show.
Yeah, I know.
I had the same thing.
I love
That clip show. I'm like, what?
It did my head in.
We're sorry for the clip show. Oh, the clip shows.
Even at the start, when the old president comes in, he's like, they're trying to brief him on all the serious shit that's happening, and he's like, it's my first day, leave me alone. I'm like, dude, you're the president of the US. Like, he's like, oh, let me basket that takes his shoes off. Oh, I'm in the Oval Office. I'm like, this guy's highly unprofessional. He is a patsy
Mate,
for sure.
Hitting a little bit too close to home in 2020, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
What was Trump doing?
Well, this would have been like a couple of years after Bush took over. So, like, is he sort of like a likable play on Bush?
Yeah.
Man?
I felt like
right.
it was. Yeah.
But after that, he sort of won me over. But yeah, look, it was all right, I guess.
See, for me, one of our biggest criticisms, especially with Politics number 1, was that it was season 1. This is season 7, so it is time for a clip show. I reckon this is, if you're going to have a clip show, this is the right time for it. If you're going to have one.
If you have to have one.
Yeah,
I guess
it's
we had
not
one-
in season 1.
We had one last season, though, that was pretty much the same thing. We were just telling all the other countries about it.
Yeah, but Thor was in it.
Yeah.
Supreme Commander.
And we've never met a president so far in this show.
Yeah, that's
have we?
right.
Right. So he's just always
right.
on the other end of the phone. We never even heard a voice, have we? Not
Well,
like a
we
director
have met a
cameo or-
president in the future.
Oh, yeah. What a dick. And then he rolls in. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, what's Kinsey got? And they're like, oh, vice president. I'm like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And he really took another step up in like headery in this episode.
Oh,
like I've
yeah.
hated him before, but in this, I'm like, you are such a prick. Like for me, he's probably the greatest. Like Apophis is the greatest villain. But this is my most hated bad guy.
He's the biggest douche.
Because like
The
Apophis,
awesome
you
biggest
love him.
douchebag.
I don't ever want I didn't ever want Apophis to die.
Yeah.
I just want him all.
Rhys.
Sorry, you did. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I didn't.
He's not dead.
he's not dead. And I don't want him to go because he's so much fun, to be honest. Even he could kill like half of the SGC, and I'm like, God damn, I love this guy. Kinsey shows up and like steals a can of Coke from the fridge, and I'm like, off with his head. I'm sick of this guy. God, he's
Just
just.
looks wrong.
God gave me this
Yeah,
can of Coke.
I was going to say, it didn't take him long to get onto that whole bloody thing.
For God's sakes, Bob, think of the magnitude of this.
For God's sake,
is right. Oh, come on, Bob.
Oh, come on, Bob. William Devane might be the most American, I think. Of like, that's what I think why I love him. He's just...
I think that's why I don't love this episode. I enjoy it because this president just puts him in his place.
Oh, man,
Kinsey.
I love that.
That's why I like so much about him. So I can forgive, rewatching it, I can forgive they know it's my first day, right? Because you're like, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I understand what you mean in the first time watching it. But this,
Yeah, I don't mind
just
Hayes.
shoves him in his place.
He's very like quirky and charming in a way, but I feel like he would be very polarizing. That people would like love him or hate him as a president. But I feel like he's just quirky and charming enough that you buy that he could get on the ticket and get his way up there.
Especially if you're bankrolled by Kinsey's team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the shady shit they'd be doing.
Yeah.
My last note here is they better kill off Kinsey.
My last note.
I cannot.
3 minutes into it.
I cannot f***ing stand. I cannot stand him, man.
Well,
Yeah, he's
buckle up.
So good. You love to hate him. I love
You're
to
in
hate
for
him.
a hell of a ride. When they were convincing the president or when the general was trying to, what was his name? Maynard, trying to convince the president to keep SG-1 and Hammond in that.
Oh, Francis.
Why didn't he tell them how many system lords they've killed? Like, surely that would be...
Because he didn't know what a
I was
system
going to
lord
say,
was.
you have to explain to him what a system lord is.
But no, they talked about system lords, and old mate bloody Woolsey was talking about system lords and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like, so he understood,
He's briefed.
but yeah, like if we're talking about experienced SG-1 or like you want to change the whole intake of the SGC, then surely you need some experience still in there. You're going to put random inexperienced military guys in charge now, or not even military.
I think the first time I watched this, I was watching it on DVD. So for me, this episode, it's almost a 3-parter because it goes directly into Lost City.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
always thought, I do enjoy this episode because you get to meet Hayes, and then when you see him again next week, with no spoilers, and it just it's a nice transition.
Well, and in the Lost City commentary, they actually say like if you ignore last week's Resurrection and go back to Heroes, it's like a 5-parter because in this episode, one of the things Woolsey brings up is Janet's death.
Yeah, that's
as
true.
one of the reasons why, as like
that was
a thing to be
they
like,
should have
hey,
put Resurrection way back.
Yeah.
As a
So
standalone.
it is really a good 5-parter. Like what happened with Janet was enough for everyone to kind of be like, and obviously the impetus for the reporter to be there was because they say at the start of Heroes the old president is on his way out, so he wants to have this sort of film thing done up, so he's got that in his back pocket when he needs it.
Yeah.
So it all does really kind of track. I guess they just needed maybe Resurrection in the middle to split it up so that in real world time, the old president's out, the new president's done his, all his bits and pieces and come in.
Yeah.
2 episodes without RDA. Kind of
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
something missing.
Yeah.
Something missing. I had to watch The Simpsons to get my Richard Dean Anderson fix. And he wasn't actually in it. It was the one where Sideshow Bob comes out of jail and marries Selma. And she only smokes. She's going to give up smoking unless she watches MacGyver.
That's a good one.
And Sideshow Bob's like, I can't stand that show. MacGyver. So good.
I kind of feel bad for Joe and Paul in this one. I mean, I know we've talked about how much they love their Earthbound episodes, but apparently for this one they were actually in the pitch meeting for next week's 2-part season finale. This big, giant, potentially series-ending 2-parter. They're in the pitch meeting for everything's happening. They're laying out the beats for what's going to happen. The meeting finishes and Robert C. Cooper calls them into his office and they're like, "Oh, we're on here, boys. We're on here. We're gonna get to write this finale." And he goes, "Yeah, no, I'm writing it. You guys are gonna write the clip show that's gonna play before it." And they were like, "Oh."
And then Brad Wright has to step in and go, I've got this, Cooper.
So Joe says, and he's quoted himself, he says he was, quote, "less than pleased that they got to write the..." Because they wrote last season's clip show as well.
Put their own clips in.
Yeah,
Fucking Cooper.
they've done that well.
Cooper.
So with this, I was thinking a lot about what you had said with Heroes, Maddie, in this because of Woolsey. And you said in that, the way we were talking about Kinsey before, you were like, you love the actor. Picardo, is it?
Bob Picardo plays Woolsey, yeah.
And you said you love him,
Bobby.
but you hate Woolsey.
I hate Woolsey.
And I can understand that after Heroes because he came in with this agenda and was very... whatever happened it could have been avoided, and you went off hating the documentary crew to hating Woolsey, very quickly in that 2-part for Heroes. In this, he comes in and he picks up where he left off, and you hate him because he's only pointing out the bad stuff, or even the good stuff. He's like, well, I mean, here they got influenced by alien technology. It's like, yeah, that could have happened to anyone. He goes, yeah, but it happened to the SGC, so they're shit. You're like, man, what?
Who else is it going to happen to?
Yeah, and thankfully, is it Francis, the other bloke? He was great. Just like, these guys are heroes, and even though he got pointed out saying, you're military, you're going to stick up for the military. You're the Pentagon, that's what you're supposed to do. But come the end of the episode. And I think it was almost the final words of the ep, him saying he just wanted to be known as having done the right thing and been on the right side of history. And I'm like, I feel like he's kind of redeemed himself. Like he's just doing his job. His job might not be very good. He's working for the NID or whoever. He's working for people that have had an agenda. They've given him a job. Go out there and get the dirt on the SGC. So he's very good at doing that job. But then when he does see the real dark side of Kinsey, or at least get a hint of it, he goes, well, I'm also a good person. I'm just trying to do the right thing here. And so I kind of felt like he was redeemed, but I kept going back to you, and I'm thinking that you're hating Woolsey overall, not just as of Heroes when you said that the other week. So do we...
Yeah, overall, I never warmed to Woolsey, and this is they start trying to buy him back here already. Even though he was so terrible in Heroes. And my issue with this is with him at the end is it's great to see that he's not as bad as Kinsey. Woolsey has his own moral code that he's going to stick to, but he's very much in the grey, and I never see him as someone doing something for the greater good. I see him as someone doing something as long as it benefits him. And I feel like him coming back at the end there was his way to distance himself from the vice president and chummy up to the actual president. He could have gone and taken down Kinsey on his own. Yeah. Instead, he goes to the president to do that. So I found that a little bit self-serving in a way.
Yeah.
I don't
know. I found that he was just scared of Kinsey. He's like, look, I don't want to get too involved, but I'll give it to the most powerful people that I know, Hammond and the president, and let you guys deal with it because I don't want to get killed. Because Kinsey was basically saying, if he doesn't agree with me, then things will happen. And he's like, what do you mean? Well, you're on the right side here. So he's like, shit, I want to do the right thing, but I don't want to die. So he's like, here you go, guys. Oh, thanks, Hammond, for giving me the thing. This is
the floppy disk.
The floppy disk
from 3 years ago. That was 3 years ago that disc. That was the disc that Hammond got back in. Was it Chain Reaction or whatever it was?
Yeah,
it's been a long.
It's not the only copy.
Yeah, and it's funny. He had it. Yeah. He didn't know. Hammond didn't know that Woolsey was coming in and wanting information on Kinsey. But it's in Hammond's top drawer in a yellow envelope, ready to go. Yeah. He's like, bam! Oh, mate. It's like, this is sensitive information, but it's in my fucking top drawer. Bang!
There'd be one in his top drawer, one in his locker, one in the coffee room.
One in his briefcase.
Everywhere, man.
Yeah,
how did that get leaked?
One in the Debbie Does Dallas VHS cover.
No one will look there.
I guess I just find it hard, and maybe it's me projecting, but I just kind of feel like Woolsey, to be as high up as Woolsey is, to be able to get in and basically do an audit of the SGC, for him not to know that Woolsey is like that. But then again, you look at President Hayes didn't know Woolsey was like that either. So, or you assume he didn't. So maybe I'm a little bit harder on Woolsey. I guess I just never forgive him for the horrible things he said about Janet. About her death, trying to assign a dollar figure to her death back in Heroes.
Yeah,
so
fair enough.
For me, I was surprised this rewatch, when they introduced Woolsey, they said that he was doing dodgy finance shit. That's why he was fired from his last job.
Oh, that's right.
And Kinsey got him into his web.
That's
so I was
right.
like, so he's always been kind of dodgy. It's weird.
Yeah.
Though in that scene though, where Hammond gives Woolsey the floppy disk, Woolsey's like, "Why haven't you given this to someone before now?" And Hammond's like, "I didn't know who to trust." I was thinking Woolsey would be like, "No, what I mean is, no one can get data off this. No one uses floppy disks anymore. It's 2004, you
Well,
idiot.
It's just barely okay when they took it out of the freezer. Now it is redundant. You're going to have to take it to one of those dodgy shops in a shopping centre where they thrive on old technology
Well,
and
and
pay
it's-
some kid who's never seen it before to try and rip it off, and it's going to cost you $750.
Why did you do a 3D print of the save icon?
You gonna mount this for me or something? Like,
Well, the parts of this episode, like that kind of stuff, like the floppy disk, and then most of next week's two-parter was actually the script for the movie, like Stargate 2 that Brad had written, like Brad and Robert had written, that was going to sort of, they were going to end the series and go to the movie. The movie would be what would then kick off the spin-off, being Atlantis, which they wanted to do like 3 seasons ago.
Spoiler alert.
But the show kept getting renewed. So I think that's why it's like, yeah, they've got to bring back that floppy disk, because that was actually a really important thing, but it was from like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we've kind of moved past that now.
just if
Could
they
have at
had
least burnt it onto a DVD or something.
They had it done what they did in like really those really bad soaps where they replace an actor, and I've had like a narrationist. My mum watching Bold and the Beautiful back, and they're like, and the role of Jack O'Neill will now be played by Jensen Ackles, and like you just have to deal with it's a different actor. It's like someone gives him a little stick, is like the previous floppy disk has now been transferred to USB.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
That would be brilliant.
I'm like, what's this? We don't have enough time on screen to explain it to you. Here's some narration.
Be a novelty USB, like shaped like a miniature disc, like a miniature floppy disk. You just pull it off.
Thor's face.
That'd be cool.
That would be good.
There were a couple of reuses of actors I noticed as well. At the very opening scene when President Hayes' aide, Stan, is sort of briefing him on all the stuff going on, that is actually that Hammond's like, it's the same actor, but he's playing a different character. He was like that shady Black Ops informant guy that Hammond went to.
Yeah.
If it might have
Chain
even been
reaction.
Might have even been chain
Yeah.
reaction, like the one that gave him the disc with that information on it.
Yeah.
Or back in like Touchstone or something like that. It was sort of back sort of that thing. So in my head canon, like I would love to like for that just to be the same guy. Like he was doing all that shady stuff with Hammond, and now he's just
Worked
like
his way up.
Yeah, he's like admin for the president. I'm like, that would be cool.
Worked his way up
President
to
Hayes
PR.
is really just like a ragtag of questionable people, just like in his campaign.
Yeah. And then Mitch, you're a fan of the Taken franchise, aren't you? With,
Yes, yeah,
with Liam Neeson. Well,
Have you seen them all, Mitch?
I have.
Oh,
I
well
mean-
done. You must like him.
Look, haven't
How's it?
haven't
8? Is that 8?
Hey,
Eight?
how many of them? Yeah. The,
His
the,
missus really needs to stay home.
the rewatchability of them as they go on. Never watched the TV show though. They did do a spin-off.
Well,
Yeah, it was like a prequel of Taken. So
Right.
If you take
Wow.
my daughter.
it's like
I
them,
will find
them
you.
planning it. It's,
Yeah.
Well, Francis in this episode, the advisor guy to the president, he plays the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. He played the chairman of the Joint Chiefs in Taken.
get out.
Boom.
I don't even
Shut
remember
the
a
front
chairman of
door.
the Joint Chiefs being in that, but
I feel like one thing he said basically should have put the whole argument to rest.
The effect of an alien device broke containment and found its way into the civilian population.
They have a mandate to acquire off-world technology, and that entails necessary risks.
And how would you define necessary?
Like,
Look it up on the dictionary.
look it up, mate.
motherfucker.
Like, we have in a basement in Nevada, we have the Prometheus, this ship capable of bloody hyperspace and planetary defense. We got that from going out and exploring planets and getting technology.
Yeah.
Of course, not every piece of technology is going to be pertinent to what we need, but we've got to bring it back and test it
yeah.
to know what it does.
And there have been episodes where we're presented with like a question like that. And I'm like, why don't they just write that? Why don't they have the character ask that question? And it's like, if they ask that question, then we realise what a stupid argument this is. But they did that in this episode where he actually said those words. Walter, he goes, they have brought back questionable technology. And then him going, that is actually the purpose of the place to bring it. He goes, but, they did and it didn't work. So...
Every technology they bring
them,
back
and I'm
is
like,
questionable.
that's the point.
you're-
We have to bring back technology to question it to find out
Yeah.
whether it's worthwhile
Like, you're
using.
proving your own point against yourself, Wolsey. Like, I'm glad they did that because us as an audience and fans like Francis of SG-1 and the SGC they're screaming at the TV, going, "But you don't like why are you arguing against their purpose and everything they do?" And like they bring up later, they have made mistakes. It's like me as a fan, I'm like, no, they haven't. They've just dealt with situations.
Mr. President O'Neill untucks his shirt. Get him out.
He's literally the only one on base that does that.
That's why I always thought they
Bloody
should have
Cooper.
had an off-world science lab where they can take artifacts and alien technology back to.
Yeah.
So it doesn't fuck up Earth.
Yeah.
Well, we do. That's where they were in Death Knell. That's where they were working on the weapon against the Cull Warriors, and that got fucked over pretty quick.
Yeah. But they should set up a base.
Yeah, the
With
amount of
an
money,
iris.
they're pouring through that mountain, surely.
If they're worried so much about the effects of Earth, then they should
Yeah, like
have a
that should be
beta
that
site.
should be Woolsey's counter, not let's just clean house and
yeah, right.
get rid of all the
Oh,
leadership.
so you mean when you sack everybody, they're not going to do the same thing? Okay.
Yeah,
Good argument.
They've been doing it for 7 years and saved the planet how many times? Let's
Yeah.
just put in someone with no experience and just clean house and all the management team.
Because that's what pissed me off the most was when he goes, "Oh, we've had to clean up after so many mistakes from SG-1," and I'm like, well, if you put more inexperienced people in, you're going to be doing exactly the same thing, just more often now.
Yeah. Where are all the files where SG-1 saved the world from destruction?
Yeah, but where are all the files when they create destruction?
They're in Hammond's top shelf.
That's what I loved about it. Is like it fully showed politics. Like it's the same. It's the same scenario, but you've got the good and the bad, and you've got two people just talking. Like you got the facts in the middle, and then some people going, "Yeah, but spin it this way, and it's bad. Spin it that way, it's good." And you literally. You have to work it out yourself. Shit, is it bad or is it good? Who do I support here?
And
obviously, SG-1.
Like when your country's on fire and you go to Hawaii for a holiday.
Yeah.
Some could spin it as bad. Some could spin it as really bad.
Yeah,
and then when you come back, you spin it as if, oh no, I'm coming back early, and it's like, no, you're always coming back.
I'm coming back as early as I can. Like as soon as I can get a cheap Jetstar flight.
Yeah.
Like I am the Prime Minister.
Like
I've only got so many frequent flyer points left. Like,
I mean, this holiday cost you Australians like thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So
what do you
I'm
want?
not-
Do you want
not
me to
gonna
waste your
it.
taxpayers' money? Is that what you want me to do?
I mean,
wow, guys, wow.
I get
Country's not bad
volunteers are
enough
dying
shape.
and people losing their houses, but I've got a Groupon for a place in Waikiki. So, what am I supposed to do?
Mate, he doesn't go Groupon. We're paying for it.
Have you tried the fish tacos in Waikiki Beach, mate? I'm not leaving with that. I can't get a booking until Saturday.
But now that you're back, how are you going to help? Oh, no, it's the state's problem. It's not my problem.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go and shake hands
I'm
with
going to go
people
and
whose
force
houses
people to
burnt
shake
down
my hand.
and just say,
And do
he's probably
nothing.
tired. That's why I didn't want to shake my hand. No, he
Yeah.
lost his house and you're in Hawaii. You're
Yeah, but it was already booked. Like,
yeah, what do you
I mean,
want
the
me to
country
do?
was already on fire. What was I
Yeah.
supposed to do?
Like, I didn't
Pick up
set-
my nose? No, I'll go to Waikiki.
Canada's offered 8 more water bombers. You go, oh, well, you have to wait till New
I
South
would have
Wales.
lost my 5-star review on Trivago.
Hey, I mean, give him credit. How much do you think he wanted to come back and just say aloha to all those victims?
Absolutely.
You know?
Aloha.
I think I like the no pun intended shadow play nature of it too, where you had Woolsey was with Kinsey and Francis was with the president. Well, the president was sort of his own thing, but he was. I felt like it was like a 2-2 sort of little team there because the president was very open to hearing about how wonderful SG-1 and the SGC were. But then when Woolsey came to Francis and he's like, the vice president doesn't know you're here, does he? He goes, no, and I'd like to keep it that way. And it's like, oh, this is so good. You're going behind each other's backs. This is sick.
In a dark room.
Yeah, and like last week, I wouldn't have felt that bad, or any other week on this show, I'd be like, oh, that's just a cool move. Yeah, good on you. But now that Kinsey sort of said that he will, that he will assassinate the president if he doesn't get on
He
board.
was pretty open with that, wasn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't very subtle.
I'm not saying that I'll kill the president, and I'm not saying that I won't. I said, Woolsey, I'm not saying that I won't. I'm not saying that I've got Lee Harvey Oswald's son on speed dial here. Fucking hell. What I really love about Kinsey, the way that he's written and that he's played by Ronnie Cox. And I love Ronnie Cox. Before I hated him in Stargate, I loved
Rhys
him.
loves Ronnie Cox too.
I love any Cox.
Dripping
does.
Cox.
I'm never completely sure about why he wants what he wants, because he wants a clean house at the SGC. He wants to run it. I'm like, Is it just because you think that they're inept and that you will do a better job?
No.
Or is it just about wanting something out of it? Or is it this wonderful mixture of both? But I'm not sure, like, you know, how much it's weighted on either side of that argument. Because he can come out and go, they need to get this. It's an offence that these people are still running the joint, that SG-1 are the still top-tier team, that they have as much influence over Hammond as they do. We need to clear house here. This is dangerous for the planet. And I'm like, you know what? That argument is sound. If that's what you believe, that's fine. But I also know that you're after an agenda. But then there's other times where he's just after his agenda, and I'm like, hang on, do you even care about what they're doing? Like, do you think they're actually doing a good job? But, you know, you could get a pretty sick ray gun if you went out there, or you could stop wars and you could get great treasure. Like, I don't exactly know what that character is.
I've always kind of seen it as he sees, the mistakes that we make, but he also sees the glory and the amazing things we do, and he wants that clout. He wants that glory for himself to bolster himself up. Obviously, back in season 1, it was so that he could become president. But we fucked around with him enough that he could only get as high as vice. But that's what I see it as. He wants that glory for himself. He wants all the good things they do. He wants to be able to take credit for it. And in his current position, he can't.
I always thought that he thought they'd fuck up because they're too left-winged, and he which is in the first season was potentially correct. Yeah, because Hammond was like, "Oh, let's all get along and be friendly," but he was made out to be wrong. And he's trying to fight against that now. He's like, oh, damn it. But they're shit.
He's too proud. He's too proud.
They could have avoided all of this if they just let him dial the gate a couple of times. Let him push some buttons and
send him through the gate to
make
the lava
him feel like
planet.
he's involved.
Yeah. Send him to the Ashen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Be a delegate. Yeah, he's getting worse.
Oh, well, I'll never watch that episode again.
Oh, you don't
Probably
need to.
not. No,
you never need
not.
to. I mean, half this episode was just disclosure from last season, so you can go back and watch that.
Not wrong. Watch 2 episodes in one.
Yeah. I found a little bit of trivia for it, though. That set, the Oval Office set, is the same set from X-Men 2, where Alan Cumming breaks in as Nightcrawler and assassinates the president at the start.
Nice.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been too long after.
It's like a year later.
Yeah.
Well, it's the White House, mate. There's only one Oval Office.
They'd have a standing set in like every shooting venue.
Well,
Vancouver, LA.
That set was like the X-Men 2 people built that set for X-Men 2, and that movie was shot up in Canada. So
Nice.
I don't know whether they just left it or whether Stargate or like MGM bought it off them and said we'll have that or whatever. But
It's
Makes
probably
sense.
just there, and then they're
It was
like,
access-
shit, let's
yeah,
do an
they had
episode in
access to
here.
Well, I think someone had to own it because they. Oh, this will be a next week conversation, but they weren't allowed to damage it. They weren't allowed to damage the set when they do a bit of action in there. So obviously someone owns it.
I think this too was around about the time that I'd seen William Devane in plenty of roles, but I was watching him very regularly because he was like, it had to have been within months of him playing the president here. And I know off air last week we were talking about 24. He played like Secretary of State or something. Like he was pretty high up in 24, and he was the target of assassination. He was like the main one that Kiefer Sutherland had to sort of protect in. And he was a really good politician there too. He's probably a little bit more of a he'd seen some shit. He was a bit more hard in that show than he was in this. But like he does play good Polly, I think.
Yeah.
Like he's just he got that real old school American, as far as again an outsider American sort of charm and that like perfect American accent. And I don't know. Yeah, I really like him. So I'm glad he's the president, and to be the first president we see in this show. And I don't know how much we see of him ongoing, but if it's a one-off, and I'm like, oh, cool, I'm glad that guy played the president. But
I think he does maybe 3 or 4 in total. Throughout the series.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but honestly, I mustn't be watching the right shows because I don't think I've ever seen him in anything outside of Stargate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like when I saw him, he didn't look familiar at all.
Yeah.
He always plays those type of characters where it's the side character. He's never the main one.
No,
like this.
He's one of those that guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that guy. Yeah.
It's time for the Get Into Geek
Harry
mailbag.
I got one here from K Price.
Oh, Kenny.
Yeah, look, is he written to the show because in front of me it just says Maddie, comma, written to Maddie. So addressed it to the Gate team.
I think the first
personally
paragraph
addressed.
is for me.
I posted in the Facebook page a request for my for a repost of the list of how to watch Star Trek. Well, the other three of us could have answered that. Not at all.
Yeah.
I may have been
Don't bother.
snarky.
I've
Don't
given
bother,
lists to 2 out of 3 of the men in this room.
Yeah, I've still got that. Mint condition. I may have been snarky.
My
and
list
giving you
wasn't
shit,
about Star Trek, by the way.
but you got it done.
Yeah.
However, I'm really wanting to rewatch the show. I never watched DS. How long do you do this, K Price? DS9, The Voyager, etc. I only watched about 4 years of The Next
Jesus,
Generation.
Kenny,
I really
that's
want to
so
watch
much
it. I
boring.
struggle through the early seasons. Can a guy get some advice?
And I've hooked Kenny up with a list that I gave to Brendan, and I've also given him the Picard primer list that I gave to you, Mitchell.
Oh, that's
that I've also
exciting.
shared to a few other people. So like
Cool.
Damo Edwards and a few
You're
others.
dealing. On a
So-
Stargate podcast, you're just dealing.
That's one.
Slip into
Yep,
Maddie's
yeah.
DMs.
Or is it 2? No, that's one.
Got to be 16.
Also, congratulations, Rhys, on the birth of the next super fan of Stargate.
Thanks, Kenny.
I want to hear, Sonny, your father made you right.
Yes.
That's not
Absolutely.
debatable.
No, it's
But-
not.
Mate,
It's very nice of you.
made her...
What happened to Brendan?
You're welcome.
Well, it's-
She's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
It's his niece.
No,
so-
but he's
yeah.
Well, I was
made-
going to
he's
go.
good.
I made her better than my
right.
father made me.
Yeah, I was going to go the other
was-
route and go. I can't wait to meet Sonny's father. Go that route.
That's what I said. That's what I said the day she was born.
Yeah, but when you
See, I wasn't.
Brendan
Yeah, I
came
wasn't.
in. I said,
I
"Yeah,
wasn't-
I think I'm the father. We've got to wait for the test to come."
Oh,
back."
that head
we
of
were the
hair,
only
that's a
two
Gibson.
laughing.
We made some cracker jokes that day. There was about 6 people in the room, and they were all staring at us like little idiots. Everyone
I
has
see
said
where
that
you're
in
coming
every
from.
birthing suite ever.
Yeah. Oh, geez, that kid's really good looking. How could it possibly be yours? And it's like, thanks for that.
I always flip it on my mum because my mum always likes to do that joke because I'm the youngest of 3. I've got 2 sisters and me, and she goes, "Oh, you're my favourite." And you think she's going to say child, and she says son.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that
good
you
one,
know
Mum.
of. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
So I always just flip
It's
it
okay,
around on
Mum.
her.
You would know if you had more. Never mind. Never
She's
mind.
pretty forgetful these days, so you never know.
So after Rhys, Maddie, you are my favourite.
Aw, K Price.
Well, you rank up there at the top, which is a dangerous thing to say when there's only 4 people on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Brendan and Rhys, I want a shirt that says "Get
Oh, there's a good merch
Shit,
idea.
so do
Yeah.
I, actually.
Now, this is why I want to read it, because this is like when you just, a guy's not handsome. Oh, he's cute. Mitch, what can I say? What can you say? You are the you are the glue that holds this crew together. You don't know that. You don't even know what like what
Would you believe, Kenny? He's the one trying to pull us all apart.
He's tried to pull me 3 times today.
last to arrive, first to leave, and do very little in between. What can I say? You are the glue. It's like he got to the end. He's like, "What's something nice I can say that doesn't
Yeah,
have,
I'm gonna add
it
Mitch in
doesn't
there.
have anything, any basis to it? No research."
He does give you the ultimate compliment of compliments, though, following that.
You are the Jack of Get Into Geek. See, that I can take.
See that? Yeah, see?
Oh shit! You should have led with that.
Yeah. Could have
I
left,
feel
coulda left
like-
the glue.
But I feel like
led
you
with that.
deliver me the truth, which is like, what can I? You're the glue that
Yeah.
holds everything
But he's saying- he's
together.
saying-
I know what I should have written, even though I
Clag.
You're the clag of the glue groups. Like
Do they have that overseas?
you're so
You're not even Araldite. You are
it's
not
clag.
super glue.
You ain't
Yeah.
blue stick, that's
You,
for sure.
you clag. You're barely.
You're the Yoo-hoo of the stationary products.
Clag, you're barely glue
Wow, hey.
that kids can eat you and not end up in hospital. Like,
You're not even the purple Elmer's glue
Here's the
stick
thing.
that dries clear. You're
Like-
just...
If a kid ate super glue, bang, he's in hospital. He's getting his stomach pumped, right? That's dangerous. Clag, kid can eat it like yogurt. You'd never know. You glue, but you don't really do the
Non-toxic.
job of a glue, do you?
Non-toxic.
Yeah. So anyway,
But he says you're holding this together the same way Jack holds SG-1 together, Mitch.
a bad episode to talk about that because Jack hasn't been in the last 2 weeks. To start SG-1. Look,
Yeah, and have a look at the episodes.
yeah.
Very true.
K Price, only joking, mate. He says, I'm a proud patron, and you are the podcast of many that I listen to that I look forward to the most.
On your Ken.
Bang.
boom.
You guys dial it up to 11 because
Hards.
everyone goes up to 10. You pump it up to 11. Yes, alcohol may have something to do with this rambling post. Sorry, I thought I was reading it wrong. No.
That's the one we like the most.
Ironically, alcohol may have something to do with this. Something 2. He put double O's in 2. I love it. Most people don't. I don't know why it takes alcohol to get me to write to you,
This is
mates.
commentating the punctuation.
But I truly love you guys and want to come to Australia someday. Wait until we're not on fire. You guys are the best.
Maddie lives alone, so if he's your favourite.
Oh, look, I've
Got
got
a spare room
a
as
spare
well.
room, got a guest room. There's nothing in it.
Otherwise,
but-
he's got a double bed.
Yeah.
God,
I mean, there's the sex dungeon downstairs as well. So
I think that's full, isn't it? Usually is.
With all those people you've been giving Uber drives to.
Yeah, the prostitute moved out of the building.
3 out of 4 clients make it to their destination.
and the fourth one's almost coming too.
But they still don't write reviews.
It's because their hands are bound. But thank
There's
you,
other
Kay
ways
Price.
you can give me
Kay Price also sent us another email where he basically drunkenly did an audio commentary
Oh my god.
of what episode was it? I can't remember now. I was too busy laughing but he
It was
basically
pre-Heroes, I want to say.
he
It was
basically
a
just
fair few
turned
away.
on the dictation on his phone and just talked while
It
he was
was
watching
long,
an episode.
like-
He was fucking. He said,
Joe
"Please don't air
Rogan
it."
wouldn't get through it on his
God, it
podcast.
was
It was
hilarious.
so long, and I love you for writing it.
That's great.
But the best part about that long rant email of KP's was the next email that he sent the next morning, going, "Wow, I wish I could take that back."
Oh, we've all been there, Kenny. Some of us more than others.
It did
God,
inspire
yeah.
us, though. I think maybe for Patreon we should do that. We should just like drunkenly do an audio commentary of an episode.
We should do a lot of things, Maddie.
Vanessa Harris tweeted at the Gary Jones, tagged us in it as well. I wonder if you have listened to the Walter Diaries, though I'm not sure how Get Into Gate crew would feel about knowing you did.
I would love for Gary Jones to
Absolutely.
hear those.
Yeah, he'd get it.
He'd
be
get
on
it.
You
Why
know,
hasn't he?
What?
I feel like Robert C. Cooper
Tagged him enough.
wouldn't. Like, come on, banana in a sink.
Yeah.
Like it's back.
I wish that was his handle.
In the sink. I was like, what does that mean? Oh, right. That's f***ing funny.
I'm going to change mine to that now.
At banana in the sink.
Big Shred Dog, 2019 to 2020.
So Lloyd Dennison sent us a tweet. He said, great podcast as usual. Pictured is the tweet that led me to your podcast. The reason I searched Jolinar of Moksha.
Oh, we spoke about that a few weeks ago, didn't we?
all right. Yeah. He was drunk searching Jolinar.
Which we questioned. Yeah.
It's because he'd just seen its username in an online game his missus was on. Couldn't remember where I'd heard it before. Since I had Twitter open, I typed it in.
So
that
he
was,
doesn't Google stuff either. He just Twitters stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, God, yeah.
That's what you got to do. And that was from
The original tweet
the
he
original
saw.
tweet. Yeah, was from Always Angry Steve at Steve_Becca_05.
One of the great fives.
He says, I love hearing Get Into Gate bitch about Jolinar. I'm up to episode 58, and it's awesome to hear them hate it as much as I do. Oh, look at me. I'm Jolinar of Moksha. Hashtag SG-1. So spreading the love, Angry Steve. Always Angry Steve.
Oh, he's always angry.
Thanks, Lloyd. Thanks, Steve.
What I like about that, though, is that the screenshot of that tweet, there's no blue line there, so it's not part of a thread, right? That's just a tweet, an original tweet that Always Angry Steve has made. And he doesn't even say, oh, Get Into Gate, in brackets, the Stargate podcast that I listen to or something. It's just, I love hearing Get Into Gate bitch about Jolinar. So that's just like, he's just mentioning something that casually that like everyone should know about.
They should.
And so if you're friends with Always Angry Steve, you're like, shit, what's this like unnamed, undescribed
Jolinar?
thing? Yeah, what's Jolinar? I better get involved. What's Get Into Gate?
You don't
Follow,
know.
bang. We got new listeners. Thanks, Always
You
Angry
don't know what
Steve.
Jolinar is. You don't want to.
Yeah.
No.
Now, I need to have a bit of a serious conversation with our listeners. We spoke about it back in Chimera. I asked everyone to get in touch with us about the date that Pete took Carter on.
Shimmerer.
Oh,
Chimera,
right.
yeah, taking it to the 50th anniversary party date on whether it's cute or creepy.
Yeah.
And one of you guys, because you're better at socials than I am, put up the poll on whether it was cute or creepy. Now,
We danced and we danced.
obviously, creepy won, but it was 64% to
Yeah.
36. That is much closer than I'm comfortable with.
And I think early
Yeah,
on
but
too.
you got to understand that 36% of people that listen are weirdos.
If they're listening to us, that number's got to be a lot higher than that. If they're
Well,
if they're
36%
finding us
of people that
entertaining.
listen are on Twitter.
And who saw that post?
But Ashley David put a little comment on there, and it did get me thinking. She says, "I'm just glad Carter finally got laid.
Yeah.
The guys of
yeah.
SG-1 have been laid multiple times by non-creepy, beautiful women, and all Carter seems to get is weird, obsessive dudes who never get it in.
Absolutely, Ashley.
I
for
don't
a
like
lack of
Pete, but if he makes her hum," I said hum, "then I'm not going to complain about a lame date." Very good point, Ashley.
Sensational.
Well done.
Vanessa Harris sent us an email, I believe.
You're right about
Been
that.
email.
Yeah, big time.
Vanessa says,
GetIntoGate@gmail.com.
Hey guys, this is where Stan gets in contact with us.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm a long-time Stargate fan, and your podcast has made this rewatch an absolute joy.
Oh, stop it.
I'm dragging my husband Link, short for Link, through Stargate, and he absolutely hates it.
Oh, come on.
I keep telling him he'll grow to love it, but he's still resolute in his dislike after almost 5 seasons.
Well,
I'm wondering if you could give him a shout out and offer some words of encouragement, or, just tell him to suck it up and stop complaining and enjoy one of the best TV shows ever made. Love you guys. Thanks for making me laugh and smile, Vanessa. Well, Vanessa, at this point in time, I would probably say cut your losses.
Yeah.
Link, sometimes we have to do things for the missus that we may not like. And I'll tell you what, you're a lucky man if one of those things is watching Stargate.
Yeah, I mean, Mitch's missus makes him watch
Priests.
pretty
two popes.
two popes.
I do want to watch that. Though.
And pretty,
Oh, don't we all,
hard.
mate?
It's on my
Hey,
list.
we've all got a kink.
it's in my browser history.
Hey, look, 2 old white guys in robes. I mean,
God, yeah.
Say no
tick a
more.
lot of boxes for me.
But no, I mean,
Hannibal 3.
Mitch has to watch Gossip Girl and Pretty Little Liars. So, I mean, you're...
been a-
Has
to,
to.
It's been a while.
You mean Sarah has to?
Yeah. So I feel like, Link, yeah, you're getting that pretty easy.
Mitch, I get it. And I'm like, no,
No.
shut up.
It's Pretty Little Liars.
Do you get it?
You get it?
Do you get it?
Because they're pretty, they're young, and they're liars.
Yeah.
Well, once we ran out of One Tree Hill, guys, we had to move on to something, all right?
We're that girl who talks like this on One Tree Hill.
Oh, Sophia Bush.
That's the one.
The Bushter.
Love
It's time to find out if Rhys has been paying attention.
I wasn't ready for that quick segue there.
Okay.
All right. 5 questions for Rhys. 30 seconds on the clock.
When's my time start?
After this
this.
first question.
Yeah.
Inauguration marks the beginning of a new presidency. What is the name of the old president?
We don't know.
Correct. Name 2 episodes where some of the clips were sourced from in this clip show.
Oh, shit.
Sorry,
Pass.
two episodes. What is the new president's name?
Hayes.
Correct. What did General Francis, what's his name, say Hammond SG-1 needed to find? Hammond and SG-1 needed to find.
The protection?
Incorrect. Who spoiled the Lost City reveal for you?
High pitch Maddie.
Correct.
Oh. What spoil?
3 and 1. The 3 and 1 rule.
Probably the biggest spoil ever.
Hasn't spoiled anything yet.
What's this spoiler?
So the old president was never said. Correct. You got that. Name 2 episodes. These are the episodes that they showed in the clip show. Disclosure, Upgrades, Meridian, Enemies, Fifth Race, Chain Reaction, Full Circle, Evolution 1 and 2,
Never seen
Oh,
any
God,
of
we're still
those.
Maternal Instincts, Smoke and Mirrors, Sight Unseen, Paradise Lost. I mean, it was a big one. The president's name was Henry Hayes. General Francis said
General
that
Maynard.
Hammond and SG-1 needed to find the lost city is what we're after. And you got who spoiled Lost City for you, Rhys. But unfortunately, Daniel Jackson
What else?
says...
Rhys,
Yeah.
your father made you wrong!
You stupid son of a bitch.
Speaking of that Twitter poll the other day,
Oh, yeah, let's speak of that again. That's good.
the Twitter poll was... Just let me bring it up here.
Yeah, no, I will. Can't wait.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
The Twitter poll was, when you're listening to Get Into Gate, would you rather hear your father made you wrong or I want to be your friend?
Yeah, we know. People
And,
voted.
Jared Steele writes, I prefer you stupid son of a bitch. Which
Jared
I
Steele
should
is-
have put in there. I don't know what I was thinking.
That's a porn name if ever I've heard one.
God,
Jared Steele.
Jared Steele.
Jared Steele.
All right, that's episode 151 of Get Into Gate next week. Sure, there's 2 episodes of Stargate SG-1 for Season 7 left, but it's a double episode, so we're coming back for our final episode of our Season 7
Looks
podcast.
like we made it.
So you're saying
Lost.
this was the penultimate?
Penultimate. So this is the Periscope episode? Is that what you're saying, Mitch?
Perennium.
I think so. This is the one that comes after the third to last episode or something. Lost.
The penultimate.
City.
Prenatal.
Prenatal. Inauguration, the prenatal episode of Season 7 of Stargate SG-1. Join us back next week for Lost City. Until then, check out all of our older episodes, because why wouldn't you? What are you going to do with your week anyway?
God's
Go back
sake.
and listen to some old stuff. You just watched the clip show. Now listen to your favourite moments of Get Into Gate, but you have to do it yourself. Go back and skip through and highlight your favourite sections. We'll see you back next week, but you can check them out in your podcasting outlets, your favourite one. Just pick it. Socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Jump on, vote in a poll or something. Just get involved.
Jump on the polls.
And getintogate@gmail.com. Send us in something for the hairy mailbag.
And if you want to be inaugurated to our show behind the scenes, go to patreon.com/Get Into Gate.
Get into it, for God's sake.
Just like Matthew Hubbard. Welcome.
Hubbo.
Welcome.
And then I feel like people
Hubster.
are getting more and more creative with their Patreon names or aliases. We've got Toasted Peanut.
Get it in your mouth.
Yeah, I wonder if possibly
Fucking hell. That's hilarious.
possibly a relative of Honey Toast, Moisture Alba. Who knows?
Maybe that's the name. Maybe
Chuck
that's-
me toasted peanut in your mouth.
That's something I'd say.
And then up from there, we've also got welcome,
You probably have said it. I've just copied you.
welcome, Fresh Horse.
Oh,
That's a throwback.
I think you misread that.
No,
No.
FRESS.
I see what they've done there.
Press horse.
Fresh Horse.
I like it.
Which obviously a throwback to the German
the Mad
guy,
German.
whatever, the Mad German.
He's angry at us.
Oh, yeah.
Horse or whatever it
Just
is.
something, I don't know.
Yeah, what was that? Hate
Beavis
mail
and
about?
Butthead, that's what I remember.
I can't
3
remember.
boobs.
Oh,
Something
yeah,
like that.
right.
3 boobs
Like
guy.
Beavis and Butthead didn't prep for a podcast.
That could have been it.
That's our demographic, mate.
That's a massive compliment, too.
And
That's what we were aiming for, to be honest.
This is a Stargate podcast. There's no time for this.
Supposed to
business.
read things
We've
more.
hit the nail on the head.
and also special shout outs to Nathaniel Shergold and Laurie Steinel. Thank
the
you,
Shigs.
guys.
All right, and otherwise, catch us all on the socials. I'm Mitch_Lewis on Twitter and Instagram. Matty, where can we chat to you and just catch up and keep up with you, mate?
I guess officially at High Pitch Matty on Instagram.
Hang on.
Yeah.
That begs
I mean, if you're into the
question.
dark web, I'll shoot you. I'll let you know where you
You'll
go.
yeah, you can only you can only be recommended where to find you.
Yeah, it's a very hard to find my scruff profile. So
No, it's not.
That's how we hired you for the podcast.
No, it's not. He says that, but it's really easy.
no.
You just Google adorable high pitch Matty, and it comes up.
It come up as a promoted tweet on my phone.
the link's in my bio on my Insta.
Brendan, formerly of at Big Shrendog, where are
yeah.
you now?
I'm at Banana in the Sink. Thank you.
Enough about your sex life, though. Where are you at on social media?
I don't know why
That's
that
his
works.
porn star name.
Rhys is
scenes
back
with
to
Rod Steele.
back to newborn duties, but if you want to take his attention away from changing, all the wonderful things that come
Yeah,
with
how's
being
that
a
going,
father.
bud? You get much sleep or what?
Ah, easy, mate. Easy.
You just delegate all the work, or
Nah, it's simple. The hard part's dealing with the missus.
Yeah, I was going to
Told
say,
ya.
you've completely
Told ya.
made sure that the expressing machine's broken, so she's going to be the one to get up and do the late night feeds.
Yeah, I'm at the Flying Gibson. Where am I right now?
you next week. We'll see you then.
Get Into Geek.